Welcome to the Notes and Solutions for day 22 of our GCSE 5 a day. And we start with an equivalent fractions question. So let's just have a look at a picture of what's going on here. So I'm going to draw you 3/4. Not the best drawing I could have done, but let's be clear that these are all equal parts. Essentially, when we're doing fractions and ratio work, that we have equal parts. Now, look, I'm going to divide it in 4 the other way as well. So look, I now have 16 equal parts. The same amount is shaded. So these two fractions are what's called equivalent because the same amount is shaded. And what you can see here is that the answer is 12/16. So let's have a look at how we actually do this maths here. We've done the same thing to the top and to the bottom. So we split each of the pieces into 4 to get from 4 to 16, and we did the same with the 3 that were shaded. So we did the same thing to the top and the bottom. What have we done here? To get from 4 to 16, we've multiplied by 4. To get this number in the box here, we need to do the same to the top. So there we go. So I've shown you visually what's going on. If we're going to deal with it abstractly, just dealing with the maths, then we've got to make sure that we do the same thing, multiplying or dividing to the top and the bottom, and then we have equivalent fractions. So just to be clear, the missing number is 12, and if you want to go and practice a nugget on equivalent fractions on Sanctuary, then the one to go and look for is 4.03. Okay, now this is a slightly cheeky question because this is really a question of collecting like terms. And the terms that are alike here are these terms AC, and we have 4 and we have 5, so we have 9 AC. Now, you might wonder what is this term AC? Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you think about it as a rectangle of side A and other side C. And so the area of this rectangle is AC. And if we had 4 of these rectangles and we added another 5, then we'd have 9 of them. So that's why our algebra here has got 2 letters, A and C together, because it's representing those multiplied together. If you want to practice collecting like terms, then go to Sanctuary and try nugget 17.04. Okay, question 3. So we're asked to estimate, and if we're asked to estimate, that should be shouting out to you that we were meant to be rounding, and we were meant to round in the question. Don't wait until the answer. Okay, so don't work this out exactly and then do some rounding at the end. In order to estimate, we're going to round in the question. So this is if we're trying to do it quickly. So a theatre has 52 rows. Well, let's call that 50. And there are 19 seats in each row. Well, let's call that, there are the rows. Let's call that 20. So how many seats have we got? Well, we've got 50 rows of 20. 50 times 20 equals 5 times 2 is 10. So this is stuff we should be able to do without a calculator if we're estimating. So we can see very quickly that we've got around 1,000 seats. Now our tickets cost £9.75 each. Well, let's call that £10. So we've got £10 times 1,000. So our estimate is £10,000. And if you want to go and practice that on Century, then try Nugget 9.12. But the clear advice here is that the rounding happens in the question, not in the answer. And ideally, this is going to be maths that you can do in your head, or certainly without a calculator. Okay, now question 4 is about perimeter. And one of the purposes about these daily 5 questions is that if we ask you often enough about topics like perimeter and area, then you won't go into the exam, oh, I get confused between area and perimeter. And we should be clear by now that perimeter is the distance round the outside. So imagine yourself walking round this shape. Well, we know what this side is. We know what this side is. We don't know what these other two sides are. Or do we? What other information have we got? Well, we've got that this shape is a rectangle. So we should be okay with our knowledge of rectangles to know that this opposite side is also y plus 3, and the side opposite here is also y. Now, if we're walking round the shape, we're going to add these all up. So I'm going to start here, and I think it's always worthwhile in these questions making sure that you really have gone round all the sides. So there's my first y plus 3. So I've done this side plus y, done this side plus y plus 3. So I'm happy now. I've gone round all the sides, and we're collecting like terms again, aren't we? Y plus y plus y plus y. So that's 4 lots of y. We've got a 3 and a 3. So there we have it, 4y plus 6. If you want to go onto Century and practice some similar exercises where we're overlaying a little bit of algebra on top of knowledge about perimeter, then 30.06 is the one for you. Okay, well, we're determined with these 5 a days to make sure that whenever you do ratio questions, if you're not entirely sure what you're doing, then you start off by drawing a diagram of the ratio. And as I mentioned with the fractions question in question 1, these are equal parts. And if we've got equal parts, then it should be shouting out for you to either do some multiplication or some division. Now, what we're asked, let's just see what the question is. We're asked, how much does Charlene get? So this is what we're being asked to find. So I've done my ratio 2 to 3. So Danielle gets £25 more than Charlene. So what we're told is that this gap here is 25. So that means that this part here is 25, but all the parts are equal. So everything's 25 in here. So Charlene gets 2 lots of 25. So there's the multiplication that we knew we were going to have. Let's not forget our units. And if we need to go and practice some similar ratio questions, then the nugget to look at is 15.07. So that's the end of our notes and solutions for day 22 of your 5 a day. I'm hoping you're finding this useful. Please remember to, as you've clearly done, watch the videos, but also now follow up on the Century nuggets. And if you've still got problems, make sure that you ask your teacher for help.